Welcome to another video from explainingcomputers.com. This time I'm going to look at the free open source video editor Kdenlive. This has been a staple offering on Linux for quite a while, but is now also being ported to Windows. And so in this video I'm going to look at both the Linux and the Windows versions of the package. Right, I thought we'd start out by installing Kdenlive under Linux. So here I am on the Linux Mint desktop. I'll install Windows in a second, but we'll start out with Linux. And I'll do it the easy way by using the application manager, the software manager there. Just click on that. People always moan at me when I do things by using the terminal. I need to enter my password. And there we are. And here we are in the software manager, and I can now just up here search for Kdenlive and enter on that. And there it is, look, top of the screen. Click on that. And hopefully we can install just by pressing install. It's actually leapt straight to 40%. You might have noticed that because I had an internet outage earlier this afternoon, so it's actually, I've had to repeat this, but it won't do that for you. You'll probably have to wait a bit longer. Anyway, we'll speed through this. And there we are. Kdenlive is now installed. So if I go to the menu, and presumably under sound and video, we now have Kdenlive. Marvellous. And if we launch that up, we should find it comes up. And now we'll just go to next, thank you, and next, and video standard. Oh, I think I'm going to go for that for now because that's what I edit most of my videos in, and that'll do for now. I don't want to be capturing, no, that's absolutely fine. Doesn't it ask a lot of questions? And there we are, finish that off, and we have Kdenlive running on this system. So, having installed Kdenlive for Linux, I thought we'd also install the Windows version. So here I am on the kdenlive.org website, where we need to go to download. And here you'll discover in the middle of the screen, just scrolling down a bit, there is a test version for Windows at the moment. So this is not the final version, and because of that the install process is a little bit trickier. And what we need to do is to first download the files for Kdenlive itself. So we click there, and you'll see down here there is a download file from Preferred Mirror. Click on that. I've actually already downloaded this file, so I won't do that because I thought you wouldn't want to see all that. But we have to do that. And then you also have to download something called FFmpeg. So again, you'd click on that. And again, I've already downloaded that file, but I just thought I'd show you where it was. Important to note, you must download the file from this first link here, not the second link below. And when you've got those files, we then need to go through a little process to get the thing working. So basically, that involves us going to the files we've downloaded. Here they are. First thing we need to do is to expand them because they're zip files. So click on the first file, and then we'll do an extract. Obviously do the second one as well. So I'll just speed through that. And with our file extractions completed, I'll just open up the relevant folders, which are that one there, that is the Kdenlive folder, get rid of that thing. I'll also open up the FFmpeg folder, so we've got that over there as well. Get that one open, just tidy things up a bit. Remember, you won't have to do all this if you're using a version of the program in the future, but right now in February 2017 it's still a test. And so what we have to do now we've downloaded these files is we have to copy the presets folder from FFmpeg into the Kdenlive folder. So we'll copy that over here and paste that in. And we also have to take the files from the bin directory there. We have to take all those and copy those and also drop those into the Kdenlive folder. And there we are, that's just copying across in the background there, that's good. We'll tidy things up a little bit. Now, to run the program now, again, because it's a test, we need to go down to Kdenlive, there we are. I'll just do a copy of that and I'll paste it on the desktop as a shortcut. There we are, look, we'll stick it up there. We've now got Kdenlive on our desktop. And the final part of the instructions I'm following, which we can still see over here on the web, although I'll get rid of those now. We have to run this once and then we need to close it down straight away, presuming a configuration issue, and then we can run it again and it should all be working fine. And there it is, came up much quicker the second time. You might be thinking, it looks different to the Linux version. That's only because of the view. If we look at the theme there under settings, I think it's set to default on Linux, which is that. I actually prefer the one they'd picked for Windows, which is the theme of Breeze Dark. So I think we'll leave the Windows version on that. So, here we are back on the Linux Mint desktop. I thought I'd check out Kdenlive under Linux, but it should be exactly the same, of course, under Windows, or pretty close. We'll run the package up and we'll do a test edit. So here we have the package running. And as you can see, you probably noticed earlier, this is a pretty standard looking video editor. We have a project monitor up here to see our clips as they play. We have video tracks and audio tracks along the bottom of the screen. We have effects and transitions we can access, and we've got a project bin where we'll put our clips. And if I just take you roughly to show you the menu, I won't talk through all the options, but as you can see, there's all the standard things you would expect in a video editor sitting here. Lots of opportunities to customize how things are displayed and that type of stuff. But for here, I'll just stick with the defaults and show you the basic process to edit and export a video. So if I click on the project bin here and bring in some clips, I'll bring in, say, or we'll do a bit of Steam Trainy stuff. Here's 3 Steam Train related bits of media. And we'll take that as Steam Train approaches clip and drop it down onto our timeline. And I think I'll just zoom in a little bit like that. So this is a clip if it's going to play of a Steam Train. You can even hear Steam Train going along. That's very nice. But it's rather a long clip, so I'll maybe start it, say, over here. And I'll just get rid of that bit on the front then and pull it back. And that will obviously work. And we'll take the second shot and we'll drop it down there, maybe up here, and that would obviously cut in a normal way. So one train going along, and there it is. That doesn't really transition very well, of course, so what I'll do is I'll put it down onto video 2, and we'll take a dissolve, and we'll just drag that down there, and now hopefully we've got a nice little transition between the 2 clips, and that works much more nicely. And I wouldn't mind using my whistle as well, so we'll take the train whistle and there we are, drag it down here, and maybe about there, that might be about right. Let's see how that plays. Train's coming along, and hopefully I think I had my whistle a little bit earlier, but that will probably be fine. So anyway, that's a very basic, simple edit, and I'll drag the region indicator to cover the whole lot. So if you're thinking, you've done the edit, how do I create a video? Very straightforward. You just click on Render. It brings up the requester for that. There's all sorts of possible formats you can use. I'll stick with the default, which is MP4. I'll call this, what shall we call it? We'll call it Test. That was a good choice, wasn't it? And we'll render that out to file. You can see you can do the selected zone or the full project. They're now the same because I pulled out the selected zone. We'll render to file. And that'll start rendering up here. Shouldn't take very long, only a quick clip, but we'll just let that finish off. And there we are, our editor's finished rendering out. We'll remove that job and close that down. If I just now bring up the folder with the video in, there it is, look, there's the test file. If we just play that, there's the video we've made. Let's full screen it, and it's coming along, and hopefully it'll now transition at some point. Very nice. We've made our first test video in Kdenlive. Right, just to be even-handed, I thought we'd take a final look at Kdenlive back under Windows, so I'll run up the Windows version of the package. And whilst I do, it's worth noting one of the benefits of Kdenlive is it can run, if you need it to, on fairly low-spec hardware. So here, for example, I'm running on my test rig, which is a fairly low-spec machine, as you can see with the specs on screen there, 8 GB of RAM, fairly low-spec graphics card and processor. And I've also tried out Kdenlive on my Surface 2 Pro, which is an i5 with a 4 GB of RAM and an Intel 4600 onboard graphics. So you don't need a fancy graphics card, they're a very powerful machine to run Kdenlive. That said, you do need a 64-bit version of Windows if you want to run the Windows version, and if you want to run the latest Linux version, you need a 64-bit version of Linux, although you can still get hold of 32-bit versions of Kdenlive if you're running 32-bit Linux. Another question you may well be asking is, what sort of format compatibility have we got? So let's bring in some clips. Here's a range of clips in a range of common formats. Let's just drag that out, we can see what's going on there. And as they come up, you see we've got here, say, an M2V file, some lovely clouds going along. That obviously works quite nicely. We've got our old Steam train from previously, which is going along there. That's an MP4 file. I haven't got audio connected now, but I assure you it's still chugging along. Chug, chug, chug. We've got here several MTS files, some daffodils and snowy stuff, and cooling towers and things. MTS, the file format you'd be getting for many AVC HD camcorders recording an H.264 codec. So all sorts of formats are supported straight out of the box. And we can even pull in here, this is a MOV, this is actually a ProRes file. So it does handle the professional formats as well. So we'd also just take a very quick look at some of the effects available. Obviously not the whole lot in the time we've got here, but the ones I know people ask about a lot. So if we drag a clip down to the timeline and take this across to the project monitor, there we are. Our daffodil is doing the daffodil stuff that daffodils do. And what if you wanted to zoom that down and maybe have a picture-in-picture effect? People often ask me about that, and every time I look at the video editor. You've got the here in effects under position and zoom, so you could drag that down to the clip. And then to control that, well, it brings up on screen some handles, some red handles you can see to actually work with the clip on. You can move it around from those. You'll see there's a little toggle here to turn that on and off. But really, if you're going to start working with effects, you should go to View and bring up Properties. And let's just give ourselves a bit more space. We can see that properly. And you can see there we can now say, I don't know, make that 40% of its normal size. And then we could go over here and move it around, and we'd have a nice picture-in-picture, and maybe turn off the handle there. Except there's no picture to be in the picture in, so I don't know, let's put that over the snowy wastes. That's a rather ironic sort of picture-in-picture, isn't it, if we have our lovely little daffodil. There we are, over the snowy waste. That's a lovely thing to want to do. Another effect that people often ask about is chroma-key, removing a green screen or blue screen background. So let's take our ProRes file, which will struggle on a machine of this power, but it'll certainly work. So there is our picture of me. This is actually the opening shot of this very video. Isn't that ironic? Let's put that over, I don't know, the lovely cloudy thing. So we'll drop our clouds underneath me there. And now we want to make me appear actually above the clouds. How do we do that? Well, we go to Alpha Manipulation. You'll find chroma key is there. We can just drag that down to the clip. And then we need to pick the color. You'll see it's come up initially with blue, but we click on the blue, click on Pick Screen Color, and pick the green about here, I think, and OK. And oh dear, initially it doesn't work terribly well, but we can adjust the variance here. There isn't a lot of adjustment, I have to say, in this, but you can mess around a little bit, and you can do a basic chroma key pretty well. So there's clearly lots and lots of effects available in Kdenlive. You can see all sorts of them here in all sorts of different categories. But the basic things you're likely to want, straight cut, I've shown you previously, and doing a transition, a dissolve, that works. Things like chroma key are there, although they aren't brilliant. And you could certainly move clips around, resize them, do picture-in-picture, etc. It really is a very nice video editor. Kdenlive is certainly a very capable video editor. On Windows, in terms of free packages, I would currently still recommend DaVinci Resolve, although having said that, DaVinci Resolve requires quite a lot of resources, at least 8 GB of RAM, at least 1 GB of video memory, and so if you've got a less powerful PC, Kdenlive's well worth looking at as a free video editor on Windows. This said, there's also other free video editors available for both Linux and Windows, and indeed Mac, one of which is Shotcut, and I'll be looking at Shotcut in a future video. But now that's it for this time. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, please press that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I hope to talk to you again very soon.